Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. I've got a real treat here today. We are going to see the Momliness from the North American server play in the Jagdpanzer E-100. Now the Jagdpanzer E-100 is one of those tanks that when it gets into a lovely matchup, a lot like this one, where there's no artillery, and there's only 3 tier 10 tanks on the enemy team, and a lot of very juicy tier 8s, that its armor actually counts for something. The main counter to the Jagdpanzer E-100, a slow-moving, gigantic tank with very thick armor, is obviously self-propelled guns raining death from the sky. As long as this vehicle manages to hide its lower plate and avoid getting shot in a weak point on top of the vehicle, then its upper plate and superstructure is very thick indeed. Now the superstructure can be penetrated if it's facing directly towards you and you have probably about 270 penetration plus, but of course there are many tanks which do get premium rounds with 330 pen, like a T-54 as an example, that can almost completely mitigate the main strength of this tank. But the armor is not the only strength of the Jagdpanzer E-100. It also gets the second biggest gun in the game that's not on a self-propelled gun. This is 170 millimeters of deadly German armament. And the Momliness has decided to load HE rounds at the start of this game. The first round hits the M103, doing 506 damage. Well, that doesn't sound very impressive for a tank which pretty much has a 20-second plus reload. But wait, there's more. Here's the enemy Tier 10 German tank destroyer, the Waffenträger Alpha E-100. The HE shell penetrates the very weak turret, doing 1,484 damage, setting him on fire, adding an extra 89 for probably a premium fire extinguisher, puts out the blaze. What a result at the start of this game, already up to 2,000 damage with the first 2 shots, including the first one doing a very low amount of damage with the HE shot. So he continues to fire HE, probably in the excitement that that round just gave him, taking out probably one of the most powerful tier 10 tank destroyers. Some might call it overpowered. So he connects another HE shell to the IS-8. He hit him twice there, doing a total of 1,176 damage. Now, of course, there was absolutely zero chance that those rounds would bounce. But pretty much, I'd say 90% of the time, if he'd fired AP, he would have killed the IS-8 there. So maybe that bit of excitement from hitting the home run against his nemesis, the Waffenträger Alpha E-100. And that was just a brilliant moment. I'll interrupt myself there. The Waffenträger Alpha E-100 obviously hating this Jagdpanzer E-100 so much for that first shot that he put in him, pretty much wrecking his tank, came round the corner to try and engage him. The Momliness, and there's just so much action here. He fires an HE shell through the side of the T-54. I cannot keep up with this action. I'm going to have to just absolutely go for it. That's ridiculous! 1,106 damage with 85 millimeters of penetration through the side of the T-54. Momliness aims at the VK-4502, but decides to try and engage this M103. Unfortunately for him, his shell goes rather low, only managing to track the target. So, oh my word! I'm going to try and keep up. Maybe we'll get a break in the action. Maybe we won't. Maybe Momliness will give us a second to catch up. So he would have probably had more success this game. I'd say if he fired AP the whole time, he would have probably done more damage. Like this. 1,075 damage, leaving the T-34 on 14 hit points. But that Waffenträger Alpha E-100 obviously hated that shell that went into him so much that he came around the corner to try and shoot at him. Momliness didn't even care. He just angled his armor perfectly, knowing there was very little chance at the angling that he had that he would get penetrated, and so just sat there and took it while his friends dealt with him. So Momliness spots an Su-122-54, a Tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer, making a break using the mobility of the tank to try and penetrate the middle of the map. Not today. Oh, another fire. Flush into the back of the SU-122 254. 1,062 damage and 103 fire with the resulting blaze. Absolutely ridiculous. The Momliness is up to 6,600 damage just over 5 minutes into the game. Make that 7,500 damage. Now he's pretty unlucky that he didn't kill the M103 there. He left it on 7 hit points and rolled for the first time this game pretty low at 987. But the Jagdpanzer, his team, literally, the Momliness right now is at the forefront of this game as he prepares to take out the T-34. He is the front line, and he's got a lot of tanks giving him fire support from the back, those medium vehicles. Now he's using the Jagdpanzer E-100 as it's meant to be, a tank which is very tricky to dig out if you can't flank it. This VK4502B, which was recently buffed to have 200mm of frontal hull armor, knows the danger of the Jagdpanzer E-100 and doesn't want to come around the corner at him. The Momliness keeps an eye on him. It's got a lot of different targets to deal with. He bounces the VK, tries to reverse up to be able to get a shot on him, but is unable to do so. Now he's getting engaged in the side. I think a 5100 shot him there. But luckily for him, his pattern buddy managed to take him out before he was able to fire any more shots to the side of this German behemoth. So he's digging in really well here. He's hiding his lower plate. But he has to make some moves because he's getting flanked. Oh! Right into the belly of the VK4502. He's not very well anymore. 1,150 damage. He absorbs a shell, I believe, from the IS-7 there, but it could have been from the 704. I didn't quite see it. 8,752 damage done. I just noticed the Canadian flag on the side of the Momliness's tank. He's absolutely rocking this game. I've never had a Jagdpanzer E-100 game this good. Spots the IS-8, but decides to focus up on this Tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer, who tried his luck just a little bit too much. 5 kills there for the Object 704. He was having an absolutely great game, but there can only be one. The Momliness absorbs a shot into the side of his vehicle there from the IS-7, and then proceeds to assault. So right now, a sneaky IS-8 has managed to get himself into the cap circle. As this is an assault game, the Momliness doesn't need to kill all the tanks. All he needs to do is to stop the enemy from winning, i.e. by killing all of his vehicles or capping the base. So he drives straight forwards, ignores the VK4502, which he left on an absolute smither of health earlier, and decides to go for this IS-7. He's bouncing shots from behind. The IS-7 is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and 999 damage done to him. So his team that pushed aggressively along the southeast probably did him a large favor here. It meant that the T-34 in this FV215B-183 didn't proceed to outflank the Momliness, and they stopped to engage the southeast. He basically two-shots the IS-7 there. Another 854 damage done to that Tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. And now he has 25 seconds left to be able to interrupt the cap. He bounces another shot from behind by the VK. Targets the IS-8, who drives out the cap circle. That IS-8 obviously thought, well, I'm gonna die anyway. I might as well survive. Leaving the cap circle, allowing the Momliness to secure the game for his team, and he continues to bounce rounds from behind. Everybody's shooting at him. The Momliness is keeping an eye on the IS-8, while also angling his tank from the VK4502B, who seems to be using 105mm. And that's all she wrote for the enemy team. The resilience of the Jagdpanzer E-100 and the bold plays by Momlinus allowed him to take down this game. He had to just leave the VK-4502, shooting him in the back and the side, to get back to the base, take out the IS-7, and then force this IS-8 down to the cap circle, completely securing the game almost by himself. With 10,680 damage done in a 10-minute round, an absolutely ridiculous achievement, showing you exactly what the Jagdpanzer E-100 is good for. It's got a huge hit pool, great side and rear armor, as well as front armor, which means that if it does get caught at long ranges, it can still bounce its opponents. As well as having that 170mm that's able to dish out the punishment as good as it gets. Thank you so much for this replay, the Momlinus. It was definitely one of the best Jagdpanzer E-100 games that I've ever seen. An absolute treat to watch, and congratulations to you on such a fantastic result. Let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats. So an absolutely ridiculous round here for the Momlinus. He picked up a Steel War medal, the high caliber Spartan medal for bouncing with less than 10% of his hit points remaining, and a tank sniper medal. This was 1,419 base experience and 10,680 damage with 5 kills. And I felt that Momlinus deserved an Invader medal and a Top Gun. That IS-8 should have given it to him at the end. Only one member of the Momlinus' team got over 2,000 damage apart from him. He literally carried this game so hard it's unreal. His marksmanship was impeccable this game. 14 shots, 14 hits, and 14 penetrations. Although most of the shots were at a sort of medium-ish kind of range. Hopefully this video showed you all what this often disregarded tank destroyer is capable of. And again, just a big thank you to you, Momlinus, for sending me this replay. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you guys did as well, please consider giving this video a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if this video makes you thirst for more Jagdpanzer E-100s kicking ass, then click up here and you can go through to a video by TT Chip doing a likewise amount of damage in another ridiculous game. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about the Jagdpanzer E-100. Do you think that the premium rounds kind of negate this tank's key strength, i.e. its armor? Do you think later additions into the game, such as the FV215B183, make this tank seem inflexible and you'd rather forego that armor to be able to gain the extra mobility and the semi-functional turret like on the FV215B183? Or do you think it's still an excellent machine in its own right? Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Welcome.